Cruise ship designers and builders constantly strive to innovate in order to offer passengers new and better travel experiences. MSC's superb Italian designers are the heart of the many breathtaking elements of this floating luxury hotel, called the MSC Orchestra. Climb aboard the MSC Orchestra and discover the world of luxury cruising in a one-week trip on the Baltic Sea to discover some of Northern Europe's most fascinating cities. Constructed by one of France's most celebrated shipbuilders, the orchestra, christened in 2007, welcomes over 3,000 passengers on each trip. This luxurious cruise ship travels the oceans of the world, discovering many of the finest destinations. The journey begins in Kiel. For the next week, there'll be stopovers in Stockholm, Tallinn, St. Petersburg, Copenhagen, before finally returning back to our starting point in Germany. Travelers will have the chance to discover these wonderful cities while aboard a luxury cruise ship that would have been the envy of kings and queens of yesteryear. The first people one meets on board are the crew members who accompany and guide passengers throughout the cruise. Friendliness, courtesy, and generosity are a few words that accurately describe them. They are guests' best allies, always there and ready to answer questions, with a smile, of course. The ship has over 1,200 rooms, so guests can choose accommodations just right for them. Those out to travel more modestly can choose the standard room, with a decor reminiscent of the waves of the Baltic Sea at sunset. For a little more luxury and comfort, outside cabins are a good choice. Impeccably decorated, they even feature lithographs by internationally renowned artist Raimondo Briata. If traveling with friends, connecting doors between the cabins are also available, offering both privacy and closeness. Rooms also have a full bathroom. Security bars are installed at strategic locations in case of heavy seas. One of the advantages of outdoor rooms is their private balcony, the perfect place for morning coffee, an evening cocktail, or just relaxing and watching the horizon. Taking in the superb view, one sees the city of Kiel slip quietly away. Founded in the first half of the 13th century, Kiel was an important player in the development of the Baltic Sea. Renowned for shipping and shipbuilding, the city has grown extensively through this industry. Even though the water is always popular, the wind can also come in pretty handy. After all, it feeds the fields of wind turbines and pleases kitesurfers no end. In fact, the city hosts several sailing and kiting competitions, like Kiel Week, the largest event of its kind in the world. Now that the ship is at sea, let's get serious. The holiday has officially started. Since this is an Italian ship, why not pay tribute to one of the very best products, Italian wine, of course. The Cantinella Wine Bar on Deck 7 offers a relaxed atmosphere to enjoy a good glass or bottle. Amarone, Barolo, Brunello, the cellar is exceptional and sure to offer the perfect choice to enjoy. It also includes tasty appetizers and foie gras canapés to enjoy with a fruity wine, a perfect marriage. A glass of wine and relaxing music will definitely help confirm the vacation's on. Tomorrow's program will be a day at sea aboard the orchestra. After a first quiet night at sea, let's head for the upper decks to see what this magnificent cruise ship has to offer. No stopovers are planned for today. While the ship slowly moves towards the capital of Sweden, why not explore the many onboard activities? Want to be in top shape to fully enjoy the stopovers ahead? Take advantage of the morning to stretch those muscles and eliminate accumulated toxins.
Also at the pool area,
While some sweat in doing aerobics, the staff is busy installing deck chairs for others to sweat in their own way. If the chairs aren't inspiring, a hot tub facing a big screen should do the trick. It is still early morning, so why not enjoy that first coffee in the warm sun while gazing out on the beautiful Baltic Sea? Take time to admire the sun rays dancing on the waters as the ship slowly moves towards its next stop. At the bow on Deck 13, guests can exercise at the fitness center any time of day. Whether alone or accompanied by a personal trainer, you can run, lift weights, and sweat to your heart's content. Even through all that hard work, there's always the reward of a magnificent view of the Baltic Sea. Then, why not let the Oria Spa experts' professional hands take care of your muscles? Inspired by the Balinese Islands, this sanctuary uses only the finest products. Whether the sauna, steam bath, or jacuzzi filled with mineral water, the choices are all perfect opportunities to relax and daydream. Then, drop in on the Oria Beauty Salon, where your hair gets the special treatment. All in all, the perfect recipe for a fine morning at sea aboard the orchestra. If you haven't already booked your trip to Stockholm, go to the travel agency counter located on Deck 6 before 8 p.m. The staff is there to help guests plan a visit to the city while offering information and tips, all of course in the language of your choice. In general, one should always book tours 48 hours in advance to be sure to enjoy both the cruise and stopover visits. After enjoying our first day at sea, it's time to get ready for the captain's welcome. This is the perfect opportunity to meet fellow passengers and enjoy a lovely evening. The captain is happy to formally welcome guests aboard his magnificent ship. The other officers will also be introduced at Covent Garden Theatre. Welcome aboard and bon voyage.
Welcome on board. Thank you for choosing the MSC Orchestra for your vacation. Thank you very much.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
This morning, the ship arrives in Sweden. First stop on the menu, Stockholm, an important historical city as well as the country's capital and largest one. As the orchestra docks, visitors can witness the immensity of the port. Each year, 11 million people use these facilities, making it one of Europe's biggest maritime transit areas. In harbor, an unexpected welcoming committee awaits us. But no worries, these Vikings aren't dangerous. After all, one can't land in Sweden without meeting these true icons of the country's history. A little further, guides are there to direct visitors to their chosen tour. They're also responsible to have everyone back to the ship by 4 p.m. Today's excursion includes a city tour, the Vasa Museum, and the Royal Palace. Let's start off with the city. Stockholm is sometimes called Venice of the North, and it's one of the most beautiful capitals in the world. Spread over 14 islands, the city has many parks and rivers sure to delight visitors. Founded in the 13th century, it's one of Sweden's most important cultural, political, and commercial centers. One of its main attractions is the town hall, or Stadshus. This is where the offices and conference rooms of the city council are, as well as the ceremony halls, including the Nobel Prize banquet site. The 106-meter-high southeast tower is topped with 3 crowns, a Swedish national symbol. At its base is a plaque to Birger Jarl, a Swedish statesman recognized as the founder of Stockholm. Another must-see is the Riddarholm Church, the final resting place of the Swedish monarchs. This is one of the oldest buildings in Stockholm, as part of the church dates back to the founding of the city. The coat of arms of Knights of the Seraphim is displayed in the church when one of the knights dies. The Order of the Seraphim is a Swedish royal order founded by Frederick I. The city tour continues with the Stockholm Palace. When we get there, there's a changing of the guard, which resembles the one at England's Buckingham Palace. The Stockholm Palace is the official residence of the Swedish monarchs. Located in Stadsholmen, or island of the city, it houses the offices of King Carl Gustaf XVI and those of Sweden's royal court. No visit to Stockholm would be complete without taking time to enjoy the cobblestone streets and narrow alleys of Gamla Stan, the Old Town. There's much to see, so why not enjoy a drink and just watch life pass by? North of the Old Town is Norrmalm, Sweden's largest shopping district and Stockholm's new downtown. In the mid-20th century, southern Norrmalm was razed to modernize the city, and its new pedestrian areas and commercial centers have become very popular. Nearby, on the island of Djurgården, is the Vasa Museum, site of the most famous warship in Sweden's history. In fact, this boat is pretty much considered the Swedish Titanic. During her maiden voyage, August 10, 1628, this floating fortress sank after traveling just a little over a mile. It's believed that the weight of the 64 cannons, its instability and structure, were just too much for the vessel, and the first gust of wind stronger than a breeze was the end of it. In the following years, many of its 64 cannons were recovered using a diving bell. The Vasa then remained at the ocean floor until its rediscovery in 1956. The boat was thus recovered after more than 3 centuries underwater. Today, the vessel is the world's only intact example of a 17th century warship. Each year, the Vasa Museum welcomes more than 20 million visitors who come to admire a large ship that couldn't float. But do not worry. While the history of Vasa is one of navigation's less inspiring ones, on board the orchestra, travelers have nothing to fear. After visiting Stockholm, head back to the ship and relax as we raise anchor at 4:30. For a lovely place to visit, the ship's atrium is highly recommended. The atrium is a cultural crossroads and the site of many musical performances throughout the cruise. This intimate concert hall lets guests fully enjoy the musical performances. Spectators' closeness to the stage also lends an interesting dimension, letting virtuoso subtleties shine through. After enjoying some gorgeous music, it's time to treat our stomach just as well. Let's move to the 7th deck for some Asian cuisine. The Shanghai restaurant offers travelers the chance to taste the flavors of the Orient. The restaurant's subdued, exotic ambiance instantly transports diners thousands of miles from the waters of Northern Europe. On the menu are traditional Oriental shrimp and seafood dishes, plus a wide assortment of rice, noodles, and dumplings. The Shanghai's generous portions and soothing atmosphere lets guests spend an unforgettable evening aboard one of the finest cruise ships. Enjoy every bite, as the Shanghai is one of the few Chinese restaurants at sea. Tomorrow, one more stopover, the city of Tallinn in Estonia. The ship has sailed through the night, and we're now about to reach the capital of Estonia, Tallinn. For those preferring to stay on the ship, instead of heading ashore, here's an overview of what there is to do. A day on board is a fine opportunity to sample the great food in one of Orchestra's many restaurants, including the elegant Villa Borghese, which offers a sumptuous Mediterranean decor. This is one of the orchestra's 2 reserved seating dining rooms, with the meal services in the evening. At breakfast, no reservations are required, with food served between 7 and 9:30 a.m. A large selection is offered, such as smoked salmon, pickled herring, pastries, yogurt, cheeses, and cold cuts, as well as eggs and grilled meats. Feel free to ask about the day's special, since the chef is determined to surprise fine food lovers. For a day on board, the ship's daily program, available in the language of your choice, shows all the activities offered. Staff at the information desk on Deck 5 is also on hand. Extra information is available in reading the various newspapers on board. But a little advice, why not just relax instead of immersing yourself in international news? A fine place to unwind is surely the video games room on Deck 14. Not far from the kids and youth clubs, a wide variety of games are available. Speaking of kids, all children on board are given a bracelet with their name and a meeting place in case of emergency. Be sure to read this bracelet for a safe trip. For a completely different type of entertainment, head up to the Savannah Bar on Deck 6. Since MSC is a family company, its members personally choose the style and materials used to decorate public places. With African murals painted by hand and upholstered leopard chairs, the Savannah is the perfect place to meet other passengers and have a good time.
Oscar number 67.
The Savannah Bar also offers bingo every night at 8 p.m., as well as 11:30 whenever the ship is at sea. It is believed that bingo was invented in Italy in the 16th century. Serendipitously, we're on a boat from the same country. Simple and friendly, it's a game that's fun for the whole family. Other games and activities are also offered in the Savannah by the ship's entertainment team.
Put your folder up, we come and take
them all for the correct.
For those looking to purchase a gift for a loved one, why not visit one of the many shops on board? Many upscale items are available. Guests can also go to the cigar lounge to enjoy one of many fine, well-preserved cigars. For those who prefer the fresh air, there are many outdoor activities available, like mini golf. Or how about a basketball or tennis game on Deck 16 for those who like their sports a little more dynamic? Whatever choice is made, several options are available, including just lazing away the day in the warm sunshine. Enjoy your rest. Many more activities await. For those who choose to stop over in Tallinn, have a good breakfast and get ready to spend a day in the Republic of Estonia, which used to belong to the USSR. The ship docks at the capital, Tallinn, at 9 p.m. The country's largest city was an important common ground between Russia and Scandinavia for centuries. Today, 400,000 people live here, and modern skyscrapers stand alongside the old town's picturesque charm. Like many other northern European cities, many of Tallinn's streets are made of cobblestones. For the past 15 years, Old Tallinn has received honorable mention as a UNESCO World Heritage City. Walking the streets of the old town, take the time to stop and admire the talent of local artists. Here's a chance to get a souvenir from Tallinn that's worthy of her old world charms. In Europe, Tallinn is renowned for the fine preservation of its old neighborhood, which is almost entirely surrounded by parks that contribute to its idyllic charm. Toompea Castle, located on the limestone Toompea Mountain, houses the country's parliament. Pick Hermann Tower flies Estonia's flag, which originated as that of a 19th century student association and was officially adopted in 1990 as the national flag. Just steps away, the Cathedral of the Blessed Virgin Mary is the oldest church in Estonia, built by the Danes in the 13th century. Though initially founded as a Catholic institution, the cathedral became Lutheran in 1561 and is the only building to have survived a fire in the 17th century. Leaving the Cathedral of St. Mary, let's head over to Alexander Nevsky's. Built between 1894 and 1900, when the country was part of the Russian Empire, this cathedral was so detested by the Estonians, they planned to demolish it in 1924. Since Estonia regained its independence in 1991, the cathedral has been meticulously restored after years of neglect. From the church to the lower town, let's head over to City Hall. This is a fine area to discover the city's many artisans and their products, such as clothing and local foods. On a beautiful sunny day, this is an excellent place to take things easy and learn all about this wonderful country. To discover rural Estonia's past, an 8-mile bus trip brings visitors to the outdoor museum at Rocca al Mare. Built in 1957, this museum is a reconstruction of an 18th century farming and fishing village. With its church, inn, school, and barracks, the village offers a fine overview of traditional Estonian architecture for the last 2 centuries. Having tasted the charms of Tallinn, it's time to reboard the orchestra at 4 p.m. Next, the captain will set course for St. Petersburg. This evening, guests are invited into the Great Hall, where the ship's dancers and artists present an impressive show entitled Midnight Sun. Inspired by the unique phenomenon of the midnight sun, this show is truly unforgettable. Performances are at 9 and 10:45 p.m., depending for what meal service guests have reserved at the restaurant. A little advice, arrive early if you want a good seat.
Thank you so much. Grazie.
To end off the evening, the Savannah Bar offers a dance party with a bossa nova theme. In addition to being a well-known dance, the bossa nova is also a Brazilian music style that combines the cool jazz and samba. Why not finish off the evening on the dance floor as the captain and his crew set sail for the next destination, St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is located on the edge of the Baltic Sea, directly below Finland. The largest Russian city in terms of size, it's second only to Moscow in population. When the orchestra reaches its destination, passengers wanting to go ashore will need passports and a valid Russian visa. One option is to visit Catherine's Palace, located about an hour's bus ride from St. Petersburg. Catherine's Palace is a 325-meter-long Rococo masterpiece that was the summer residence of the Russian Tsars. In 1717, Catherine I of Russia ordered the construction of a summer palace for her pleasure and amusement. In 1752, the Empress Elizabeth had the old structure demolished and replaced with a much grander residence. Over 100 kilograms of gold was used to gild the stucco facade and statues on its roof. In the center of the palace is the marble Great Staircase, designed by Ippolito Moneghetti and built in 1860. Decorative 18th and 19th century Oriental porcelain vases and dishes and reclining cupids give a taste of the luxury that surrounds us. The palace is best known for the Golden Enfilade, a suite of formal rooms that start with the ballroom or Hall of Lights. Measuring nearly 1,000 square meters, the ballroom spans the width of the palace, and its many windows provide superb views on either side. Covering the entire ceiling is Giuseppe Valeriani's The Triumph of Russia, dating from around 1755. As you make your way through the many other dazzling rooms and surrounding grounds, it's hard to believe that the palace was almost entirely destroyed by the German army in 1944, and has since been painstakingly restored as a monument for Russians and visitors alike. It's now time for us to visit St. Petersburg, the capital of the Russian Empire for over 2 centuries. During the Second World War, the siege of Leningrad, as St. Petersburg was then known, was one of the longest and most destructive sieges in history. Today, many statues and monuments, such as the monument to the heroic defenders of Leningrad, located approximately where the city's defensive line held, pay tribute to the many soldiers who died in battle. To fully appreciate the vast sweep of Russian history, no museum is better in the world than the Hermitage, located along the Neva River. St. George's Hall is one of the largest staterooms in the Winter Palace and served as the principal throne room. From here, we make our way into the Pavilion Hall, which features the 18th century golden peacock clock designed by English goldsmith James Cox and a 19th century imitation of an ancient Roman mosaic. The Hermitage's collections comprise nearly 3 million items, only a small portion of which are on display at any time. So take the time to enjoy your visit. There will always be more to see should you return another time. Before leaving St. Petersburg, why not take a ride in a horse-drawn carriage to St. Isaac's Cathedral? Commissioned by Alexander I, the church took 40 years to build, from 1818 to 1858, and is the largest Russian Orthodox cathedral in St. Petersburg. During the Soviet period, the cathedral was first abandoned and then turned into a museum of atheism. But since the end of communism, it has once again found its faithful. The rich interior is breathtaking and includes, among many other details, over a dozen gilded statues of angels, each 6 meters high, that face each other across the interior of the rotunda. Across from the cathedral is St. Isaac's Square, graced by the equestrian monument to Nicholas I, unveiled in 1859 and a technological marvel for its time, as its 6-meter span was supported by only its 2 hind legs. There are so many things to see and do in St. Petersburg that it is easy to lose track of time, but be sure to make it back to the docks by 6:30. Tonight, the ship leaves for Copenhagen. If you're in the mood for an extra special meal, then it's time to sample the Four Seasons Italian Ristorante. Located at the stern of Deck 13, the floor-to-ceiling windows provide a romantic backdrop as you reflect on the many highlights of your voyage. The restaurant is à la carte, so the additional charges will be added to your final bill. But considering the MSC Orchestra is an Italian cruise liner, be prepared for a fine dining experience that rivals the finest onshore restaurants. The chef is a native of Italy, so why not ask the waiter to see what specialties they recommend? Fresh pasta with a delicate tomato sauce is always an excellent choice, surprisingly light yet seasoned to perfection. For meat lovers, there are many fine cuts to choose from, and the chef will prepare it exactly as requested. The knowledgeable waiter will also be happy to recommend the perfect wine to accompany your meal from the ship's extensive cellar. And And don't forget to save room for dessert. Given the high standards of the Four Seasons restaurant, you won't want to miss out on the classic peach melba for dessert. It's said that in 1892, at a party in honor of Nellie Melba, a famous opera singer, French chef Auguste Escoffier prepared a special dessert for her, which featured a peach poached in syrup on a bed of ice cream. Over time, the recipe has evolved. Peaches are now flambéed, but the singer's memory is still the essence of the recipe. So enjoy this dessert, which took the name from a great singer, a perfect finale to a delicious meal. For sports fans who don't want to miss an important game, don't worry, there's plenty of other guests who are in the same boat. You can catch your favorite team on the giant screen by the pool, or visit the wine bar to cheer them on. As another magnificent day draws to a close, the orchestra travels quietly towards Copenhagen. The ship has 683 nautical miles, or 1,100 kilometers to travel to reach Denmark. Tomorrow will be a day at sea with a chance to enjoy the many onboard facilities. As we journey towards Copenhagen, why not try out the casino, which is only open while the orchestra is on the open sea? Whether a seasoned player or a beginner, the Palm Beach Casino has lots of opportunities for guests to try their luck. Why not settle in and play a few rounds of roulette to honor the ship's origins? Roulette is an Italian invention from the 17th century. It was around 2 centuries later, however, when the Monte Carlo casino formally opened, that the game became popular. If Lady Luck's at hand, winners collect 35 times their stake. There are also poker tables. Or if slot machines are preferred, who knows, you just might win big. Winners' chips are then brought to the cashier, who will be happy to convert them into cash. While the ship sails towards Copenhagen, the orchestra chefs have been hard at work preparing a fancy surprise to celebrate this last full day at sea. The Buffet Magnifico, served in the La Piazzetta cafeteria on Deck 13, is a feast for the eyes as well as the palate. Take time to admire the care put into these beautiful creations. From sharks and sea creatures, cooked fresh to perfection, to fruit sculptures as fascinating as they are delicious. There's fresh sushi prepared carefully by the orchestra's sushi chef and a wide range of other appetizers. And to finish off, a tantalizing array of fruits and cakes prepared just for you. Enjoy this special night as the orchestra glides through the Baltic Sea. Arriving in the mist of early morning, the orchestra moors along the Langeleen Pier. Though there's a choice of several side trips, including a harbor tour and a tour of the shops, let's opt instead to explore the town and visit the Tivoli amusement park. Near Langeleen Pier is the statue of the Norse goddess Gefjon, which recounts the story of the origins of Copenhagen that now sits on the islands of Zealand and Amager. According to legend, the Scandinavian king Gylfi, seduced by Gefjon, offered her all the territory she could plow in one night. Gefjon transformed her sons into oxen, and the plowed earth was thrown into the water, thereby creating the island of Zealand. One of the most famous citizens of Copenhagen, the Little Mermaid, is back in town after being showcased at the Danish Pavilion during Shanghai's Expo 2010. During her absence, a first in 100 years, visitors could see her via satellite video image. But no worries, travelers visiting now get to see the real statue. Copenhagen is one of the most densely populated cities in Europe, with around 2.7 million inhabitants in a 50-kilometer radius. It consistently ranks as having one of the best qualities of life of a major urban center, being recognized for everything from its environmental consciousness to its ability to attract international investments. One of the busiest places in Copenhagen is the Rådhuspladsen, or City Hall Square. Its large size and central location make it a popular venue for everything from flea markets to dance demonstrations. The square is bordered on one side by the Rådhus, or City Hall, with its 105.6-meter clock tower being one of the tallest buildings in Copenhagen. There's a statue of beloved children's author Hans Christian Andersen, and the Tivoli Gardens, an amusement park which opened its doors in 1843. The Tivoli Gardens comprise a vast landscape of attractions, from Oriental-themed buildings to magnificent gardens and thrill rides. For the last evening on board, let's visit the Amber Bar in the middle of Deck 6 and enjoy some jazz piano over a quiet drink. The bartender will prepare any cocktail that's requested, but his specialty is martinis, shaken, not stirred. In keeping with its name, the orchestra's musicians always put on an impressive show, and the Amber Bar is a great spot to unwind one last time before heading home. This tour of the Baltic Sea and the fascinating cities that encircle it is drawing to an end. The ship will be back in Kiel in the morning. Yet there are so many other destinations worth discovering. New and more extraordinary cruise ships are constantly being developed, and the possibilities are endless. Stay tuned. Our dream cruise adventure is only just beginning.